Hi, welcome to this HR talk show, People at Work. I'm Ramesh Ranjan, the founder and editor of humanengineers.com, a popular HR website. Through this talk show, The People at Work, we will be engaging, having discussions, and understanding from business, HR, and thought leaders as to how we can make the most of people at work. People are the only competitive advantage, and organizations who have been able to leverage the people potential have been able to make a difference in the society and at work. Sustaining organizational success over a period of time requires leaders to be able to pass on the wisdom, knowledge, and experience to their successors and across the organization and for generations to come. Coaching and mentoring is one of the most valued means of developing people in organizations and in society. India has been known to be one of the oldest civilizations and has a rich tradition and culture of nurturing talent over the centuries using the Guru Sishya Parampara. We have a lot to learn from the Indian Vedic culture. And today, we are very fortunate to have with us Sri Vidya Nagaraju, an alumni and a faculty at IIM Bangalore, a psychologist, a corporate leadership coach, an award-winning women achiever, a TEDx speaker, featured on international and Indian TV channels, with over 25 years of rich experience in the field of human behavior. We are fortunate to have her on our show. And Sri, thank you for having accepted and coming on the show. She will be talking to us about how we can enhance the process of mentoring through the Indian wisdom, Nyayas. Sri, over to you, and we look forward to understanding how we can leverage the Indian Vedic culture and the wisdom in our endeavor to mentor and make the most of our people. Over to you, Sri.
Namaskar, and thank you, Ranjan, for inviting me for this show. It's my pleasure. And I will be talking about the topic called Nyati. Nyati means the path, the guiding path, the guide, the path. Mentoring has been there for years together, for decades together. Yet in many organizations, we see it's not been very successful. Many organizations, it's become more a checklist syndrome. There are amazing templates, formats, all that is there, but yet somewhere it has not been that successful. So in my study of that, I could find some reasons, some of the gaps. And as an Indic wisdom enthusiast, my research is again says, how can we make it more effective? Maxims, which is called in Sanskrit Nyayas, Laukika Nyayas. So we all know maxims, we've heard many maxims and we have grown up with that. But today, how can we connect those maxims, the guiding principles, to our mentoring to make this process more effective and enhancing the entire process? With that effort, I share this entire concept in brief today. Probably today is just an introduction for that topic, and details we can always go through much later, or someone can contact me for it. So once again, welcome to this. And let's quickly understand what Nyayas are. As I said, the maxims define an expression of general truth or principle. They drives home a certain point very effectively. And also, it helps us to churn our intelligence to discriminate the right from the wrong. This is not that discrimination, gender discrimination types, but the viveka, what we call to actually discriminate the right, wrong, good, bad. That is what is this principle is all about. So before we jump in, let's quickly recap what is mentoring. And there's a lot of confusion. So I'm sure the moment I say mentor, coach, all these words come to our mind, different roles, a teacher, trainer, guide, leader, all this, which are true. Teacher, we know, teaches a subject, trainer helps you learn, a leader leads you, a counselor helps you deal with your past, coach helps you to meet your future goal, motivator, all that we know. So then what is a mentoring? It's a bigger umbrella which encompasses all of this on the need basis. So that is a mentor is a much bigger umbrella. And in our Indian context, even more bigger role is the guru. But right now we will focus on the mentor who either, coach or guide or teach, but or at least tell you go here and learn this and come back. So that's where the mentors is a bigger umbrella and much higher responsibility. In the competency pyramid, as we know, mindset is counseling, knowledge is teaching, training, skill is coaching, mentoring is throughout. With this understanding, now why mentoring? We all know, right? Those of us who have great mentors, we know the power of it. Whether it's Swami Vivekananda, Oprah Winfrey, they have all spoken about it. What is the power? So this is all, mentor helps you in direction, training, supporting, motivation, different roles a mentor will play by himself, herself, or at least guides you where to get that support. Now, next question is, who should be a mentor and who should be a mentee? I think very important to consider before we go through this process. Who? Should it be your friend, religious leader, a neighbor, your manager? Who should be? While we all know so many, if we Google, we get whole list of qualities of a mentor, which is true. But I've picked up 3 significant. This all reference I've taken from Bhagavad Gita also about a mentor and a mentee. The qualities are very clearly defined from there. First, the mentor should have a value. One of the values, core values, should be that helpful nature. Should be a mentor's core value and should be interested in my growth and should be available in terms of time. There are so many people who are interested, they're helpful, but they have no time. And what's the point? They should be available when I need as a mentee. So in addition to all the general, I think these 3, according to me, are very significant. And even beyond all that, I should feel connected when I meet. That's how I have got my mentors. When I met them, somewhere I feel, yes, that inner connection beyond logic that we should get connected. Then it will be effective. If this is what is a mentor, then who should be a mentee? Mentee. This is where, again, reference from Bhagavad Gita, that mentee first should recognize that there is a problem. Recognition of problem is the primary criteria. And then accept that I need help. That's the second biggest. And then third is either you surrender or seek. Till then, while Krishna was with Arjuna all through the life, but he never taught Bhagavad Gita to him. Why only then? That only when Arjuna was ready is where Krishna decided to teach him or share that great wisdom which we all learn today. So ultimately, it's the readiness of a mentee. Then we can proceed now further about the mentoring. Now I talk about these approaches. When we look at this, you see a cat carrying, a mother carrying its child is what we see. This is where I bring all those Nyayas. It's called Marjala Kishora Nyaya. Marjala means cat, Kishora means child. So what is this? Here, as we see, the mother or a parent is carrying the child. Who's taking the responsibility here? Obviously the mother, right? Mother is holding the child. So mother is holding with a lot of responsibility. The child roles is simply trust and let go. So this is one of the approaches of mentoring. Okay, let's understand other approaches. This is called Markata Kishora Nyaya, where we see here the parent carrying the child, but we see a very different here. The child is taking responsibility, child is holding the mother. So here, child is more responsible while mother is aware that child is there. So mother might be, or a parent could be more careful, but the primary responsibility lies with the child. And I'll share one more approach, which is called Shwana Kishora Nyaya. We have seen the street dogs where neither the child is holding the mother nor the mother is holding the child. But the mother keeps an eye on all those, children around. And only when a puppy goes out of the territory, that mother will go and bring it inside. Okay. So when I keep these three as three different approaches, now let's understand which is good, which is bad. I'm sure none of it is good or bad or right or wrong. But it is important we have a clarity of which approach in my mentoring, my mentor and as a mentee we are following. And it should be both explicitly understood by both of them. So what happens if I am following, say, I will assume as a mentee, if I assume that I will follow the monkey method. Or let me say the first one, we took Marjala, the cat. What happens? I am waiting as a mentee that let my mentor come and reach out to me, because he or she or that person could be extremely busy. I might be disturbing. With all my hesitation, I am waiting as a mentee. As a mentor is waiting, saying, oh, let the mentee should reach out to me because the mentee needs the help. So mentor is waiting, mentee is waiting. Both of them are waiting with their own assumptions. That doesn't help. So the clarity of whichever the approach is appropriate for their context is what is important. For example, I have a mentor. With the same mentor, we follow two different approaches for two different aspects. For one, I know he will follow up with everything. He schedules the meetings, all that. I don't worry too much. But for another aspect, I do that. I schedule, I follow up, I fix up the meetings, I seek for help. I think that clarity will iron out a lot of gaps in the whole process of mentoring. And then this third one, what we spoke about, Shwana Kishora Nyaya, this is again, we all have some mentors who helps at a very macro level. We meet them once in 6 months, once in a year, just discuss mota things, what we say. While others, we have at least, fortnightly or monthly, we reach out. So we all need these mentors who helps at a macro level. But that clarity should be there. I choose a macro and the mentor thinks I am helping only at macro level. But as a mentee, if I'm waiting, saying I need help at micro level, again, there's a huge gap. The system wouldn't work. For me, this is what the Guru Shishya Sambandha talks about from these Nyayas, very insightful for especially mentoring personally. Once we understand, I'm sure the way we choose the mentor or the way which approach to choose will definitely help us in mentoring. With this understanding, I'm sure to some extent, but I have more Nyayas which will help then further how to help. I have only covered why, who, and approaches, but a lot more about how. I'm sure we will discuss that some other time, or you can feel free to reach out to me for more details. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and namaskar. Thanks, Ranjan.
So Sri, very, very interesting. I've been trained in coaching and mentoring by none other than Dr. Marshall Goldsmith, a world-renowned executive coach. But I never really thought about these three ways of mentoring, right? You talked about Margala Kishora Nyaya, about the cat and the kitten relationship. You also shared about Markata Kishora Nyaya, where the baby monkey has to take the responsibility in the whole process of survival. And of course, you shared about the dogs and the puppies Shwana, Kishore, and Nyaya, where the dog sets a perimeter and then ensures that the puppies live within the perimeter, and if they go astray, brings them back into the fold. I want to ask you, in Bhagavad Gita, which style would you say is the relationship or the Guru Sisha Sambandha between Krishna and Lord Krishna and Arjuna?
That's an interesting, again, it's situational, as we said, we have seen that there are different roles has been played. All the three approaches have been chosen. So it's not always one approach, but the clarity is important, which approach is more appropriate at what point of time. I think that's the maturity of a mentor. Primary maturity should be with more with the mentor who can guide the mentee saying, okay, this approach or which approach is. Or if both of them are very matured, it becomes obvious. But they have that understanding.
Great. That's a very interesting point. So you can't have a one size fits all. And as a mentor, as a coach, you need to understand that depending on the context, what type of mentoring one should be able to apply. And similarly, from a mentee perspective, depending on the context, depending on the situation, and depending on the maturity level, what type of concepts, whether a Margala or a Markata or a Shwana, we should use. So that's a new perspective and a new dimension that we brought into the aspect of mentoring, Sri, drawing a deep inspiration from our Indian Vedic wisdoms. And it was really very insightful and thought-provoking and a learning for me. And thank you so much for having shared in a very brief, insightful way. And I'm sure there's a lot more to share and learn from you. And I hope that one day we will be able to bring you back to share the full gamut of the mentoring process. Thank you very much.
We can do a series.
Sure. Thank you very much, Sri Vidya, and wishing you all the very best in your journey of trying to help to make the most of people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.